What's up, guys? Welcome back to Viewer Castles. Today we're going to start off with Nawasty. Cast level's a 20. I'm going to try to get through it with my level 19 Knight. Should be possible. We'll see how it goes. Alright, looks like that's a fake. These guys are on shield, which is good for you because I'm a knight. If I was an archer, I would just volley that, and both of the archers would die anyway. Alright, I'm just going to kind of continue through this castle. And just kill them on the way. Alright. So I mean, these Defendatrons are pretty annoying for me to deal with, but that's like all they are, is they're just a little bit annoying for me to deal with. Eventually they'll die. But they are keeping my mana bar full as I'm going through the castle. Alright, so the archer's a little bit weak on the health, obviously, there. Not much you can do about it. I think it's a pretty good group, though. I mean, it's fine. Usually I don't like pulling archers around corners, but in this situation I think it's alright. That was actually one group where I didn't mind Smelly Warriors, because you had a couple things working to make the Smelly Warriors work for you, right? You had the shield, which slows you, and then you had the battering ram, which knocks you down. So, like, those two Smelly Warriors actually both got their hits in. I couldn't really get away from them. That was a mistake by me. I'm gonna get hit by both of these now. That was pretty bad. I should have pulled back away until they did their first attack. Again, a mistake. Alright, well, I'll have to use... For some reason I've used 2 potions already. Maybe I didn't bring a full stack in with me. That's more likely, because I don't think I used any yet. Alright, so you definitely have a time-wasting castle, I can see. Like, that is so frustrating. And the fact that I don't have 4 potions is going to be really annoying. Because these guys will eventually, like, kill me if I don't heal up, so I have to use a potion. Alright, so I mean, I'm gonna assume that you've set it up so that nothing's skippable and all of that. And this is a pretty annoying group. This is one of the good things about using these specific Stairmasters, is they're pretty annoying for knights to deal with. They're not really, like, they don't do all that much damage, and archers can deal with them very easily. But I do like how you have random mines all around in this room, so that if an archer is standing here and they teleport behind the mines, then he doesn't have that line of sight anymore. So most likely I'm going to die in this castle because I didn't bring in a full stack of potions. I think that's the problem. Maybe I used some earlier on and I just don't remember. Sometimes I use potions without thinking about it because I'm still used to, like, having hundreds. Well, we are at the boss room, so I might be able to make it through this. Okay, apparently I don't have mana. That's sucky. Oh my god, please give me mana so I can use Healing Strike. Alright, so this is all the health I have for this group. Let's see what it is. Okay, so this isn't actually a damage dealing group, so that's really good for me. well, it was really good for me until I botched that. But I'm just gonna kind of heal up a little bit before I engage this. Well, hopefully. Okay. I do like this group. I think it's kind of cool. It's neat. I probably won't make it in time. If I had more potions, I think I could have. And I may actually die still. Oh my god. Alright, I ended up dying. I'm gonna have to like rewatch this video to see if I brought in more than 2 potions. If I brought in 4 and I actually died, okay. If I only had 2, then I think I could have made it in time. I could have, you know, played it a little less slow. That being said, it's a pretty unique castle, and I like the way that you make it challenging based on that timer. Like, a lot of the timer-based castles are really boring and slow, and they're just like Robo Shieldatrons and Defendatrons and Scorpios, and that's pretty much it. But the way that you use Stairmasters here to make it difficult to get through is pretty unique. I would say that if you're really going for this time-wasting castle, you might want to think about some of your archers that you have, switching them out for a little bit more tanky mobs in general, or like adding in, maybe even just changing the Defendatron to a different ability. Things like that can actually increase, you know, 10, 20, 30 seconds onto your timer just by doing little tweaks here and there, pulling something through the walls and stuff like that. Can add quite a bit of time onto your castle. So there's some tweaks that you could make, because I do think that I'm level 19, your castle's level 20. I think that level 20s, 21, 22 shouldn't have too many problems getting through under the timer. 20 might have some problems. Anything over your castle level will probably get through, at least after 1 or 2 tries. So there might be a few tweaks that you can make. I know I didn't say a ton that you could improve because I was trying to get through under the time limit and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a unique castle. So we'll jump into number 2 in just a second. Alright, next up is quenelle, something like that. Castle level 24. Jump into it on my archer. Alright, it's a Zeke. It was being defended by a Defendatron back farther in the castle. I like people that are doing that more and more often. I still have not done it, but for you guys that have like been watching me and have been noticing me comment on it, really good on you for actually like making use of that. I think it's definitely underused even still, like for other people's castles. Like, I feel like this is one community that actually found that first. You know, somebody, obviously one of my viewers that I did their castle, found it before me. I'm not taking credit for it, but I'm slightly taking credit for spreading it as much as I have been. It's not like the biggest exploit in the world, right? If it was something crazy bad, I would, you know, be less inclined to say, hey guys, use this. It's like, you know, I wouldn't be telling you guys to use it. But I mean, I think it's just a neat thing that you can do. I don't think it's like the most abusive thing in the world. I mean, maybe it'll be fixed eventually if the devs look at it as a bug, but I think it's pretty neat having a Defendatron, because you have to. The way that I look at exploits is if you have to do something that will make your castle less optimal. Like if it, I don't know how to put it. The best way I can put it is back with like multi-pull springboard traps, right? If you get hooked by the first one, the devs were looking at that and saying, oh my god, it's an exploit, you get pulled through the entire castle and have no chance of winning. But then you look at it and say, well, if you attack the castle again and you miss that first pull, then the castle is that much easier. And it's the same way with this. If you want to use this Defendatron, I know that something's going to walk by here and it's going to guard right like that. He's not aggroed, but this Scorpio is taking like use of that Defendatron even though it's not aggroed, and I have to pull it back a little bit farther unless I want to pull 2 groups, right? But the downside to that is you have to have a Defendatron that's out in the open and is easily engaged on. So there's a downside to it. That's the way that I look at like certain exploits and stuff. If you want to use this cool trick, you have to put a Defendatron out in the open that's easily engaged upon, right? This guy's not actually guarding anyone, and he's like by himself. So I can easily take this guy out before he even really does anything for this next group. So there's a downside to it. That's why I don't think it's like the biggest exploit in the world. I wouldn't care if they left it in, you know, in post-launch or whatever. It's not a big deal. It's just like another option that you can use. There's a lot of great games like that have these little things in it that weren't probably intended, but they're just cool little, you know, nuances in the game. And it's almost that like the game is, you know, easy to learn, difficult to master, because there's all these little nuances that you can do. Anyway, I should be focusing more on the castle at hand. So far, you've been making use of that Defendatron a lot. I would say, like, just be careful that, like I said, you're not giving up too much of a downside to use something that's kind of cool. Like, it is making me take a little bit more time on these groups. That's one good thing for you. The bad thing is, like, the next group in line is a little bit more in the open. So, you know, test it for yourself. See if that having that Defendatron out in the open is actually worth it for you. Because I haven't tested it enough to, like, you know, actually make up my mind whether I like it or not. I think it's cool, but I might not like it for defending purposes, like optimally and stuff. So that one shouldn't be a... This first Snotter over here was a fake. I knew that, but I think this one shouldn't be. Yeah. That's just because I know rooms pretty well. Alright, so I like the bad dog with this Scorpio. It's going to screw up my timing on dodging and stuff like that. I think your Bone Puppeteer arrived a little bit late, though. He only got one heal off, and I'm going to be able to eventually DPS this guy down. There we go. So maybe he didn't show up too late, because it almost gave me false hope, and then I was barely able to kill this off. Someone with lesser gear probably wouldn't be able to do it. But you might want to just tweak it so that your Bone Puppeteer arrives a little bit earlier, maybe. Alright, so the archers are very valuable there. Not the biggest deal in the world, but... Knights would have a little bit more of a problem because they would have to aggro this next group before they could engage the archers. Alright, and then this is really annoying to deal with because you have this Defendatron here, which... Normally I would say like guarding the Jimbo or guarding the Mega Mutton is actually a mistake. It is a little bit annoying to deal with though. I have to like give you that because the Mega Mutton is so quick. He constantly is getting in the way of the shots. Other than that, the Mega Mutton isn't really that dangerous by itself without having it like already charging, right? So that's why most people don't use Defendatrons on Mega Muttons. Okay, you have this going on again. I really like the use of that with Zeke. I think that's one of the best uses, because it's so difficult for me to get this guy away because he has range. Like, you realize that I have to pull all the way back to here. Like, that's really good. That being said, he doesn't really defend the Scorpio very easily. You know, if I engage this properly, well, that was a really bad volley. But if I engage this properly, I could have probably pulled this Defendatron out before the Scorpio even was able to attack me. So that's the downside to it, obviously. Makes the Zeke group a little bit stronger, makes the Scorpio group a little bit weaker. And I think it's used pretty well here, though. So yeah, your timer's pretty hard to beat. Like, usually I don't make timers when I'm talking and going through castles like this, but the fact that it, you know, went off and I had one group plus the boss room to kill is definitely good for you. I think that people should have a pretty big struggle trying to beat your timer. And overall, I haven't seen many problems with your castle. Maybe a couple tweaks that you could make, like archers and stuff like that. I think archers are a little harder to make use of, especially like that long corridor where you had archers flanking around the side. That's the only area where I think maybe a stronger like hand-to-hand unit like a Mega Mutton or something might be better than archers, just because you have so much distance to be able to see the archers lining up shots and just kind of dodge out of the way. That long tunnel with like the T intersection down towards the back. When I see archers there, I never really get hit by them. That being said, knights have a harder time, so I mean, it's kind of a trade-off, right? Because archers can just volley that, knights have to walk up through 3 possible groups down towards the end of the tunnel, or pull back around the corner and wait for the archers to come to them. So I guess it's a trade-off. It's a pretty good castle overall, though. I wasn't able to make it on time, and I think that most people will struggle to make it on time as well. So we will jump into number 3 in just a second. Alright, for number 3, the Omglisk. I've done this castle a couple times. Jump into it, level 21. I'm going to use my archer, because I don't think I can make it on my knight 2 levels over. He just doesn't have good enough gear. Alright, here, first thing I would say, your Defendatron, you don't want, like, if I initiate on the Cyclops, he can't take damage. If I initiate on the Killer Crab, okay, he could probably get one shot. That's something that, I mean, I don't know about the group. The group itself is kind of weird, but what I would say is that you don't want the Defendatron to be able to be headshotted as initiation. Like, the Killer Crab here feels weird to me. I don't know what else you could throw in there different, but it just feels a little bit weird. I guess you're going for kind of a time waster castle, I can already tell. I don't know what's going to happen here. Like, what specialization is this guy on? I guess he's on shield, yeah. So I'll probably make it through quicker than most people will because I'm over-leveled and I'm over-geared. Like, there's not much that you could do there unless you had something to spot for him as well, right? Like, I was able to hug the wall here and get a shot on your Defendatron, but that's about the best that you can do. You can make it so it's kind of blocked off like that. It's better to force me to, like, try to line up a shot rather than just giving it to me in like, plain sight, you know? Oh god. That was close. I almost died there. Alright. Alright, that group's pretty interesting. I mean, it's pretty standard as well. You have the knockback plus archers. Alright, let's see what you use in this tunnel. This tunnel feels like it's one of the still the best rooms. The problem is that there's so much vision. Like, it's insane how much vision you get in this room. One of the biggest vision rooms, I think, in the game, but it's still really good for, you know, double pulls and stuff like that. So I don't mind Scorpios here. I like Mega Muttons to follow it up. Let's see if that's what you use. Yes, you do. This is how I use this room as well. I don't use the Cyclops, but I use Mega Mutton to follow it up because I think it's one of the better things. Like, it gets to you pretty quickly, and the vision doesn't really matter. Alright, and then you have a Jimbo, and this Jimbo is really good. You notice how I cannot get a hit on this guy. What I would say is that your Bone Puppeteer, if you put him just up in the corner as well, so I really have literally no angle that I can actually get to this Defendatron. Like, I might be able to make this angle, but I'm just gonna kill off the Bone Puppeteer here instead. Because you gave me the shot, so I didn't have to try the other one. but just trying to cover the angles of everything using this guy to like tank everything because he won't take damage is generally the best way to do it. Alright. Beat Pound more. One shot, of course. No, it's just because he's one tier under me. Like this, I can't really get any shots here. And he ends up getting a hit on me, which does 1,000 damage, which is good. If that was a level 26, I would have probably died there. Two Hunger Bots feels weird to me, with both being on the bashback. And like that's the only thing in this group. I don't know, that's kind of weird to me. I'm not sure the purpose of that. Alright, this group, what is behind it? Is that a Mittens? A Mittens? I've never seen a Mittens used. Well, I've seen it, but I've never seen one used well. And like, I'm gonna have to agree that this one probably isn't amazing either. The Mittens... it's 10 points to just get an attack increase. Like, you have to think about, is that actually worth 10 points? 10 points is almost another elite. You add 2 more points to that and you could have 2 elites instead of just 1 with extra attack speed. So you have all that extra health to go through, plus, you know, 2 different attacks to dodge rather than just 1 who's walking faster. Like, I have to think that the Mittens is just not worth it in its current state. So, I don't know. Personally, I would say scrap the Mittens, at least for the time being. He needs a rework. Like, 10 points is way too much. I feel like even if he was 6, I would make points for not using him. But at least 6, I would probably use him, or try to make use of him in the boss room. That's the only situation where I would try to make use of him. Because he could howl like 2 elites or something. But currently, 10 points for just an attack speed increase, just not worth it. I would scrap him, and if you want attack speed increase, throw in a bad dog, and hopefully they will volley the group or something, like I did there. And then you still get the attack speed increase. But, with that said, that will be number 3, so we'll end the video here. If you guys enjoy what I do, please subscribe. If you want to be part of Viewer Castles, you can email me at FrenzyCastleRuns. You can comment on a video or comment on my castle, give me your in-game name, and I will get to it when I have some extra time. Like I said in my last video, you know, I'm kind of backed up, so give me at least like a week, maybe more, to get through all of these castles. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.